All right, guys, I'm live. I'm a little early. Just testing things out. Anybody wants to go in
live.
there?
I'm a
And
little early.
hold on. There we go. That's better. Just testing things out, waiting for people to show up. Anyone wants to chat a little bit, that's fine too. It's scheduled for 8. It's about 10 after 7. Hey, John. About 10 after 7. I'm just trying things out. Hey, Simone, how are you? I know it's a little late for the UK because it's already midnight at UK, but hopefully it'll be a decent stream. A lot of people have been asking about trade schools and people working the trades, not working the trades, stuff like that. So I reached out to a few people that are actually shop teachers. They're going to be up here. We're going to have a surprise guest too, and hopefully it'll be a fun stream, and we'll see what happens. Oh, yeah, a lot of people so far are making tracks. Hello, how are you? RW3, hello, Ralph. How you doing? Iron Duke, how are you? Yeah, like I said, this is going to be about trade schools and high schools with the trades or not with the trades anymore, things like that. So it should be pretty good. Morning from UK. Yeah, it's actually a little after midnight there. So good morning, everybody in the UK. There's Spoons. Yeah, we got the surprise guest. That should be fun. That was based on Bob's request. So we have a surprise guest based on Bob. Actually, you know what? While I have you guys on here, um, another person who taught welding. His name's Al. Um, he had emailed me. He saw the ad for this, and he's a retired teacher. Let me show you what he wrote me. He wants to come up on the stream too, and I just wanted to pass it by everybody to make sure it's okay. Oh, let's see here. Let's see what we got. Here we go. It says, "Hi Ken, I'm a longtime subscriber viewer, which is nice. Thank you. If it's possible, can I have a link to the stream tonight? I am a retired machinist welder of over 40 years. He's a YouTube creator. He retired in 2018, teaching welding at a local technical college for 7 years. Out of Cleveland, Ohio. His name is Al. So if no one has a problem with that, we'll invite Al up as well. But I wanted to get Bob on and John. So Double Wide 6, we'll get Spoonworks up and our special guest, and then hopefully we get Al up as well. This is more of a Q&A session about trades and how kids aren't really going in the trades anymore and stuff like that. And basically, I'll just give you the reason why I'm doing this. I have a friend. He's a customer actually, and he's a plumber. And I needed the Johnny ring on my toilet was bad, leaking, and I was like, you know what? I'm in my late 50s. I can afford to pay someone. I'm going to have someone else get dirty and fix my toilet. So he came over and he did that. Did a nice job. Did a great job. Wasn't that much money. And then I said to him, you know what? I said, we're getting rings around the sinks and stuff like that because there's stuff in the water. You know, we have city water, but there was stuff in. I said, I really would like a whole house filter. So he came, a week or so later with the filter, and I noticed how he had a young assistant with him, and he was showing this assistant, like an apprentice, what to do. And I questioned him, and I said to him, it looks like, you got a nice apprentice there. Where'd you find him? He says, it's my son. And I said, oh, I've taken over the family business. And he said, no, he says he really didn't want to. He said he actually had to beg him. I said, what do you mean? He goes, there's no one out there wanted to have an apprenticeship with him as an apprentice plumber. He says, I offered good money and everything, benefits, all that stuff, and no one wanted. I said, really? Not even the trade schools? He goes, what trade schools? He said, no one's teaching the stuff anymore. No one cares anymore. I was like, really? So I thought to myself, I said, hey, we got some people out here. We got Spoonworks, John, he's a shop teacher. And we have Double Wide 6, he's a shop teacher. And they teach industrial arts and things like that in the schools. And Al, who emailed me, he taught welding and stuff like that. And I just wanted to have a discussion and see what everyone thinks about the trades. And Simone, you asked about trades, plumbers, carpenters, pipe fitters, welders, even bakers and hairdressers, cosmetologists. When I was growing up, the high schools taught shop classes. You could take metal shop, wood shop, auto shop, baking, drafting, things like that. It's a little different today. You have like CAD design and robotics and computers and things like that. But I'm talking the real trades, the bare bones trades, building a house, electrical, plumbing, wiring, things like that. we have technical schools around us that are funded by the state. There's 4 or 5 of them in my state, or in my area, I should say, but they're losing funding. The states don't want to fund them because the people aren't joining them. And based on what my plumber said to me, where are we going to find children, not children, but people to apprentice to become and learn, get their journeyman and all their licenses and stuff and become responsible tradesmen? My father was a lineman for the power company. Okay. And, to me, that's a trade as well. You're working for the power company utility, but I'm talking skilled trade, the masons. Okay. How many bricklayers do you know? How many people do you know do concrete work? How many carpenters do you know? How many plumbers do you know? How many electricians do you know? And how many kids do you know that are learning it or want to learn it? Not many. So that's why I wanted to have these guys come up and do that. So that's going to be this discussion. It's going to be talking about the trades and if kids are into it or not into it, and why not, and things like that. So I just wanted to get these guys' opinion. They're very into it, I know, and that's what they do for a living. So that's basically it. Let me go back up through some of the comments. I'm on here a little early. I'm just trying to get things rolling here, see who's around. I know it's a little late for UK people. I appreciate the UK people coming up because I know it is late. I do appreciate it. Let me go back and see who else we got here. We got Peter Boca. Hello, Peter. Yeah, Peter, I got the Milwaukee. I'm figuring James Hayes can send me some Milwaukee products. Let me see who else we got here. I know Stella's going to join us, the lawnmower lady, because she talked about Thomas Andrew. How are you? How's everything going? Gulf Coast. Hello, Gulf Coast. How are you? Rick Borman. Hello, Rick. Jeff Skews. Trade schools, Jeff. Yeah, trade schools. Oh, Jeff said it. I thought Simone said it. Yeah, trade schools. Around here, the closest one I have is in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is about 6-8 miles away. It's called Bullard Havens Technical School. And when you're in 8th grade and you are looking to go into high school when I grew up was 10th, 11th, 12th. And in the past 20, 25 years, now it's changed. High school is 9, 10, 11, 12. Anyway, when you're going into 9th grade, you have a choice. You can either go to high school, regular high school, to do college preparatory, things like that, because you're going to go to college, or you had a choice to go to a technical high school. A technical high school, you actually sign up for a trade, okay? Plumbing, carpentry, whatever. And in a technical high school, half of your time is in the classroom learning theory. The other half, you're out getting your hours so you can get your licenses, so that when you're done with the school, you can apprentice with a licensed electrician, plumber, carpenter, mason, whatever, and become a tradesman, skilled tradesman, and hopefully, work and make money and have a great life. But the problem that I have is, I don't want to get too much into it, but the problem I have is when you're in 8th grade, you're 14 years old, you're 13, 14 years old. Okay. How do you know what you want to be when you grow up? You really don't. I mean, 8th grade, come on. So, my parents pushed college. My brother went to Purdue. He's like a genius mathematician, computer guy. My parents, engineering, you're a mechanical, go become an engineer. And I did. I went to college and then paid my own way and did stuff like that. But a lot of times I regret, especially now that I've been doing small engines for 20 years, if I went and learned small engines and things like that. I did cars and stuff. I always worked on cars and trucks. But if I learned small engines and opened up my own shop when I was 20 years old, and I would have been in business now 38 years, I probably would have been pretty better off, So I'm just thinking, the kids that are coming up now, when they go to high school, my high school doesn't even offer any industrial arts anymore. If you want to go take industrial arts like metal shop, wood shop, stuff like that, you have to be bused to a different school, a technical school, to learn it, which to me is a bunch of crap. I mean, if I'm paying my taxes in a town, why aren't they offering the things I want to take? Now, granted, they'll let you take them, but they have to bus you somewhere else. I just think it's not really fair to me. And I hate saying this because I was a big, profound college guy, got to go to college, got to get your degrees. I went back at age 45 and got a bachelor's degree. I had an associate degree in mechanical engineering, and I had it for years, but never got good money because they said, you only have an associate degree. So at 45 years old, I started working third shift, went back to school, and in 7 years got a bachelor's and an MBA. So now I'm doing very well and all that, but I'll be honest with you, the best education I had was my 2-year technical degree education, which was a lot of hands-on, machine shop, things like that, and just, fixing stuff on my own. That was the best education I ever had. So the trade schools are so important. They really are. And I'm afraid in 10, 12 years, 15 years, you're going to have maybe a choice of 2 or 3 plumbers or 2 or 3 carpenters or builders in your area. People have to come in from all over the place, and you got to pay crazy money because no one's doing it anymore. It's really nuts. Let me look at some more of these comments here. I apologize. Cliff Cuddell. Hello, Cliff. How you doing? Bama. Doug, how's it going, my friend? Hopefully all is well. Iron Duke, who knows? It may be your instructor. This guy is out of Ohio, so we'll see. William Myers here. Hello, William. Who else we got here? We got Roger McDonald. Hello, Roger. Machinist, Roger. Absolutely. Roger, when I got out of my 2-year associate degree in mechanical engineering, I started out as an engineering technician. Okay. And when I went to work for the company I worked for in Bridgeport, they're a big manufacturing company, they sent us all around the whole factory for a few months. We did every single job. They wanted to see what you were good at, almost like an apprenticeship, but I had a 2-year college degree, a technical degree. I ended up in mechanical engineering designing bearings. That's where they wanted me. They said, you're good at, math and calculations and, stuff like that. So you're very good at, drawing, drafting. We didn't have computers back then. It was drafting on a drafting board. So they said, you're good at drafting. You're great at math, all that. So we want you in our bearing design department. That's okay. But I did work in the tool room. I ran a die cast machine. I ran molding machines. I ran presses. I set up presses. I did basically the whole gambit of manufacturing. And I loved working with my hands. I always have. I look back now, I should have elected and told them I wanted to work in the tool room as a machinist. Well, and here's the thing though. You talk about machinist, Roger, there's a big difference between a machine operator, a machinist, and a tool maker. Okay. You have a machine operator sitting there at a Bridgeport all day making some chips, yada, yada. A machinist reads the prints, understands it, makes adjustments, sharpens tools, things like that. A little more brain power. Then you have tool makers where you start out as a journeyman, class B, class A. Now, a tool maker can work magic with machinery and machine tools. Okay. A tool maker is worth his weight in gold. When I started this journey back in 1983, after I got out of college, they had apprenticeships and things like that. They don't anymore. Any shop you go into now wants to start you out full bore. They don't want to teach anyone anything. When I started, you had a lot of old timers, the guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I say old, right? Willing to teach, and they were willing to do apprenticeships. They don't do that anymore. It's sad to say, but they don't. But you're right, Roger. Same thing. Machinists, now they're pushing everything CNC, 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 and CAD, CAD, CAD. Well, you know what? If you don't really know how to design and draw, CAD's not going to teach you that. Yeah, you can make a pretty picture, but CAD's not going to teach you that. And as far as machining, yeah, you could turn dials and you know how to turn on a Bridgeport and you know how to turn on a lathe. But if you don't understand machining fundamentals, you're going to kill yourself and you're not going to make good parts. So a lot to that, a ton of that. I could go on for hours talking about machining and stuff. It's my first love. I love machining. I have a lathe, I have a Bridgeport. I absolutely love it. And I love making things. I really do. Let me go back in the chat. We still have another probably half hour before we see our guests. So let me see who else in the chat here. I'll put some of these comments out, guys, just so you can see them too. Gulf Coast. My high school did away with trade classes for one cooking class, marine mechanics, 2 levels of construction class. Yep. Oh, I forgot AC, HVAC, AC, air conditioning, refrigeration. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big trade. Big trade. Okay. It's 100 degrees out. You want nice cool air. Need an HVAC technician. Wintertime now. You got a gas or an oil-fired burner or boiler. You need those service. Who's going to do it? There are schools you could learn. There are different schools, but are they showing you that stuff in high schools right now, or are you getting kids at a young age? No, nobody's really interested in it. It's too bad. Let's see who else is here. We got Iron saying hello. Hey, Top Conquer. Hello, Phil. Thanks for being up late. I appreciate it. I know you guys are heading for bed, but I came on a little early hoping to see some of you guys. I hope I'm not babbling on, but I'm waiting for a guest. I figure I'd just chat a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Carpentry. Absolutely, Thomas. I hope you took advantage of it a little bit and your skills are still with you. And, going back to that, Thomas, you took carpentry for a trade. How many people buy a house and don't know even what drywall is? or don't know how a house is constructed, don't know what framing is, don't know stick framing versus, say, balloon framing, lead braces, how drywall screws versus nails, taping, compound, all that. Come on. I mean, these are the things you really, I mean, yes, you can learn them now. I mean, we have this thing called YouTube. You can learn anything, and thank God for it. But when I was growing up, learn by doing. That's what it was. It was all learned by doing. I'm showing my age. I'm 58 years old. But anyway, let's see. Everyone's saying hello. Steve Swell Engines. Hello, Steve. How you doing, buddy? How are you? Just about to go. That's okay, Cocker. I appreciate you coming up, my friend. Hope all is well with you and Annie. William, 24 away. Well, you guys check out Rayleigh's Small Engines. I know it's a great channel. I check them out too. Let's get them to 1,000 subs. That's good. Thank you, William. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Conquer is saying hello to everybody. Let's see who else. No one in the basement yet. I know Spoons and Bob. I'm sure they'll be on time. I just figured I'd come on here early and talk to you guys. Spoon's actually already here. There he is. Hey, Spoons. He's already here. Let's see. Everyone is saying hello, hello, hello. You're already sleeping. Kentucky, Iron Duke. I was in Kentucky. I was actually in, my wife's cousin used to live in Covington, Kentucky, just south of Cincinnati. Nice place, very pretty place. Grasscutter Palmer, hello, Tim. How are you? Christopher Shelley, hello. Good evening to you, or wherever you are. Good morning, good evening, good night, whatever it is. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Tim, Chris, William. Let's see who else we got in chat. We have 25 right now, which is cool. I sent the links out to our friends, and hopefully, the next half hour they'll be up. But if anyone has any questions or anything wants to talk, that's fine. No big deal. What are you saying, Chris? What do we got here? I meant so busy. I'm sorry I'm not joining Small Engine last year. No big deal. This stream, technically, Chris, isn't really Small Engine stream tonight. I usually do that on Sunday morning. I had put out something on my community page where I wanted to talk about trades, learning the trades, and how young people aren't learning trades or don't want to go into the trades. And that's really the topic of discussion here. But feel free to email me at Ken Small Engines with an extra S at Gmail, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you have, or give it to someone who might be able to answer it as well. Let's see what else we got here. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Peter. So yeah, I'm telling you, Peter. Where's that, Peter? Where's that? Where's that school, Peter? Is that in the States, or where are you, Peter? Everyone's saying hello again. Mike Rowe. Oh, absolutely. Mike Rowe. Yep, absolutely. Dirty Jobs and all those other TV shows. Yep, absolutely. Yep, you got to push the trades. You really do. You really do. And I tell you, if I had to do it all over again, now I'm set. I'm 58 years old. I work for a defense contractor. I like what I do, and I'm going to know another 6-8 years, I'm retiring. But if I had to do it all over again, and that's why I wanted to have Bob Double Wide Six and John Spoonworks come up, I would be an industrial arts teacher teaching kids what I know on how to make stuff, fix stuff, things like that. I mean, that would be my dream. But alas, my career, I've done it. I've been there, done it, did the school, did this, did that. I'm on the way down now. So I'm going to ride it out where I am and hopefully pad my 401k, and also my wife and I can enjoy retirement, and I can make Ken Small Engines bigger and better. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Let's see. I tell you, you got a good point. You really do, Ralph. I mean, YouTube, even us small engine guys. I mean, we put out great videos, and people don't need to go see a small engine guy. They're going to fix it, which is okay. But I'll be honest with you. Depending on where you live, you're always going to have the people, you know what? I'm not going to get dirty. Like me with the plumber, the Johnny ring. Do I want to mess with my toilet that's 31 years old? No. For whatever it costs me, have the plumber do it. It's so nice to come home and something's done. Just like when you take your car in to have it serviced, or if there's a problem. It's so nice to come home, you write the check, or you give them the credit card, and you drive away. It's nice. But you need people to do this. The auto mechanics, the electricians, the plumbers, the masons. You need it all. You really do. DNR, David, how are you, my friend? Hope all is well with you. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Everyone's good. Everyone is fine. Hello, Tommy. Simone is there too. Simone, I sent out a couple of your stickers to some US people. I still have more I have to send to you. So let's see. Everyone saying hello, hello. ACR, what part of the coast are you on? Gresco Power. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Still nobody in the basement yet. Still early. It's only 7:30. Everyone's still saying hello, hello, hello. Hey, there's Lawnmower Lady. Hello, Stella. How are you? How are you, Stella? Let's see. Good morning, good evening, UK folks. Thank you so much. I know it's after midnight there. It's 12:30. I appreciate you staying up. Hopefully, we can talk. Steve's saying hello to Stella. So is I am Duke. I am doing very well, Christopher. It's going to be a fun night, I think. What else we got? Everyone's here. Hey, Rick, Motor Coach. More hello, hello. I'm getting caught up with the chat. Everyone's saying their hellos. Bang, bang, bang. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. I know, Stella, you said you were interested. Any reason that you're interested in that? Anything that caught your fancy when you saw this coming up? I'm just curious because I know you said you were looking forward to it. AP, hello, how are you? Everyone's still saying hello to everybody. And Gulf Coast is Florida on the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of Mexico. And everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Let's see. MS meaning Mississippi or Missouri? Which one? Yes, Cutter Palmer. Hey, Pate. Do you think it's a funding? It is funding. I don't know if that's Jason or Christine, but it is in my state. It's the funding because you have to have minimum enrollments in order to get the funding and sustain the funding. And if a lot of the kids don't want to take it and the enrollment is down, they're just going to shut them down. And that's what they started doing in my area. One technical school is not there anymore, and they're threatening to shut the rest down. They're there now, but they probably have half the students that they normally would. Most kids nowadays, I hate to say it, oh, I'm going to be a stockbroker. I'm going to make $1 million when I'm 22 years old. Yeah, it's great. Wake up. All right. But to me, the trades are so important. They really are. They really are important. Chris Shelley saying hello to everybody. Roger. Yeah, Roger, that's my first love is machining, Roger. It absolutely is. What type of machining did you do, if I may ask? What type of industry were you in? Like I said, I worked for my first company in Bridgeport. They were owned by Barden Bearing, which is major, large bearing company. We did everything from medical products, metal stampings, plastic molding, die casting, a lot of bearing parts for Barden. We did a lot of metal stamping, progressive die transfer dies, things like that. It was the whole gambit of all kinds of machine. We had jig bores, jig grinders, surface grinders, millers, lathes, CNC, NC, all that stuff. But back then, NC, CNC, that stuff was just coming out. And back in, I think it was 84, we started doing computer aided design because we had drafting paper. We drew everything on paper, so we had to have good printing and all that stuff. So, when I was growing up, you had to be great with your hands. You had to be a good, good draftsman, a good printer, letterer, all that stuff. So it was tough. It really was. All right. Everyone's still saying hello to everybody. Oh, let's see what we got. Trying to catch up here. Everyone's saying hello to pates. Everybody loves pates. Lawnmower Lady. Another half hour. No, you're not late. I just came on a little early because I know some people had emailed me, private mailed me, wanted to know if I could go on early and maybe answer a question or talk for a little bit. I got a lot of hot air, so I'll talk. Yeah, we got another 25 minutes. If they come on a little early, we'll start early, but that's okay. All right, everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. Les, how are you? Boardman, Ohio. How you doing? Let's see. Everyone's saying hello, hello, hello. AP, been fixing machines What type of machines, AP? I'm curious. What type of machines? We have a friend of ours in the Netherlands, Ralph Morick. I don't know if you guys know Ralph. If you're familiar with some of the scrapping channels, Ralph is a scrapper, but he also is an appliance repairman. And he always talks about repairing, dishwashers and refrigerators and, major appliances and stuff like that. So another trade, appliance repairman. You need them. All right. You buy $1,000 washer, circuit board goes out or whatever. Boom. You got to be a genius to fix the stuff. It's like fixing cars. You know. Uh, bu- 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 There's spoons. Talking from the horse's mouth. More perception issue. Oh, absolutely. You're totally right. And that's what we're going to talk about, Spoon, John. We're absolutely going to talk about that because, my parents pushed, push, push. I remember my senior year, everyone was cruising, taking, basket weaving, this and that. No, I'm taking all advanced placement courses so I can get into a good college. It just, to me, like you said, brainwashing. It really is. All my friends that are in trades that started out when I did in college and they went for a trade, they're all successful, have beautiful homes, beautiful families, all that stuff, a lot of money because they stuck with it, went to the trade schools and did well. And I wish the kids nowadays would think about it. I really do. Everyone's saying hello to everybody again. Let's see. Nice tanning down. Oh, yeah, the Gulf Coast. Good, nice tan. Everyone's saying hello to Conquer. Everyone's saying hello. Mrs. Kindergarten tea. They can iPads are. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's all about the digital age, Jason. The digital age. Hey, there's Gary. Hello, bass guitar. My email is Ken's Small Engines with an extra S on the end. One word. Ken's Small Engines, an extra S at Gmail. Because Gary, while you're there, I want to get together. If you're available, we want to get yourself, Bruce's shop, James Condon, and myself for the next generator Q&A, because I know James had mentioned your name and he wanted to really have you involved, which is great. And Bruce Pender was really getting into it, Bruce's shop, so he wants to be involved. So if you're available, let me know what's good days and times for you. I'll find out the same from Bruce. And I know James's availabilities, and hopefully the four of us can get together for the next generator Q&A pretty soon. A lot of people are asking for that. We have a great time with the generator Q&A. We really do. Everyone's saying hello again. If you want to go in the basement, Spoon, just to make sure I can see you, you can do that. I just want to make sure I see you in the basement with the link I sent you. All right. He was in there, Stella, but he was going to bed. It was around, because right now it's 12:39 there, UK. He was heading to bed at about 10 after 12, so he's probably still in bed right now. Let's see. Yeah, we'll get to that, Jason. We'll definitely get to that. Yep, that's what this stream is about. It's about talking about trade schools now, then, yes, no, why not, funding, no funding. Absolutely. There he is. John, you mind if I bring you up now? If so, give me a wave. Or do you want to just hang out in the basement? Throw it in the chat. It's up to you. Everyone is saying hello. Oh, here's a new person. Halogen. Hello, Halogen. Is marine engine repair a field during a... Well, you know what, Halogen? To be totally honest with you, in my area, I'm in Connecticut, literally 5 miles from the coast. Where I live, they call it the Gold Coast, where I am, Connecticut, that area, a lot of money. Boats and stuff, big bucks. And there's a guy who's a friend of ours on the channel, Will G. Will G is a marine mechanic. He's a little bit further northeast of me, a little more boats up that way. But yeah, marine mechanics, great money, real good money. All right, real good money. Let's see. Yeah, he was there. Oh, Peter's in New Hampshire. Okay, great. Love New Hampshire. Jeff Skews. Hello, Jeff. How are you? How to get younger people? Yeah, you got to get the younger people into it. Oh, here we go. I do Lexington outside of Versailles. Okay, cool. Yeah, the racehorses. Absolutely. Kentucky Derby and all that. Absolutely. Saying again, Chris, you said hello to me 17 times. That's okay. We say hello all night long. Lawnmower Lady saying hello to everybody. Everyone's saying hello to Peter. Simone just subbed at Rayleigh. We're trying to get Rayleigh up to 1,000. Let's see what else we got. Everyone's saying hello. Hello to Stella. Jungle Bob. Hello, Bob. How are you, my friend? I'm trying to get through. Hey, Joe Ortiz made it. Joe had sent me a couple of emails. Joe, glad you made it, my friend. Thank you for showing up. Let me see. In Canada now, motor coach. That's Rick, if I'm not mistaken. We have trade apprenticeships, but we still have problems recruiting people. So I'm still saying, yeah. I'll be honest with you, motor tech. The people I know that went to trades, 40 years ago when I was going into college, they're doing very well. They really are. All right, John. Oh my gosh, my friend from New Milford. Hello, John. How you doing? Good to see you. I haven't talked to you in a while. I talk to your buddy Ralph all the time, but I haven't talked to you in a while. Hope all is well. I've known John for years. Let's see. This guy who has a channel near me, very small channel. John, you mind if I bring you up? Give me a wave if that's okay. All right. There he is. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. I think it's going to be a pretty heated and enlightened stream because you got people out there on every aspect of trades and all that, and it's such a hot topic. I know Pate had asked about your comment about funding. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Funding for what I do is done.
Why don't you explain what you do first, John, for those that don't know?
So I teach at high school. They call us career tech teachers now. We're not vocational or industrial arts. We have a new title, and it changes every now and then. When someone writes a new PhD thesis, we get new names. It's my joke. It's been like this for a while.
It's true, though. It is true.
I know. So I've only been a teacher for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was an electrician out in Las Vegas for about 15 years before I moved back to Ohio. But what I teach in high school is I teach a woods and metals course for freshmen, sophomores, what it's aimed at. And I teach a junior level and a senior level to my program. Am I giving the backfeed on this?
No, you're fine.
Okay. So I teach a junior level program, and we call it engineering and fabrication technology.
Mm-hmm.
So we teach first semester, we teach a manufacturing operations course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the basic things about basically how manufacturing works: hydraulics, pneumatics, belt drives.
Yeah, general engineering, general mechanics. Yep.
Yeah, basic electrical, all that.
Yep.
Then second semester, they go into fabrication. So they learn how to use a press brake, how to use a shear, how to use all the various tools. They do some welding when they putting their projects together. And I'm all project based. There is some testing, but that's for credentialing through another organization. And if you pass it, you get an A. That's the way I give grades. Mm-hmm. And then senior year is industrial maintenance, first semester. So we go a lot further into how to repair things, how to troubleshoot, and wire panels and all that. And then second semester is welding technologies, and that's where they do flux core welding, MIG welding, stick welding. So they get all those type of exposures. Mm-hmm. And like my woods and metals class is woods and metals. First semester we do woods with the freshmen and sophomores. They literally build boxes, shelves, like we did when we were in school coming up through shop class. That we do that during first semester. I actually sold that class as this is a shop class. I want to teach a shop class for these guys because they don't know anything. Yep. They're coming in. When we came in, most of us, when we came in, like my dad was a cement mason. Cool. So I worked with my dad, so I knew how to do stuff. Where I get kids now whose parents don't even own tools.
It's funny. My father was a lineman, for the electric company. Okay, which to me are the toughest guys in the world. But anyway, the tools that he had, it was funny. He had a Craftsman toolbox, and I cherish it. It's in my basement. But the tool was the tool drawer in the kitchen. You open up the drawer under the steak knives, and there's the wrench and the channel lock and the double reversible, screwdriver. And to this day, my mother's bottom drawer next to the stove is the tool drawer. There's washers for the sink. There's, packing rope or core. I mean, just little stuff that's been there forever. And it's just funny how, a tool drawer to the layman, that's tools.
Right. Well, no, and we had that too in the house. I mean, that's always. I still have it now. I have a tool drawer, so I don't have to walk out to the garage. But there's also a thing to be said about like having drills and having saw. Like when I was a kid, my dad didn't have a whole lot of power tools.
Mm-hmm.
It was mainly saws, the old hand crank drill,
Yep.
that bit and brace,
Oh, yeah.
things like that. I mean, when I was real young, we lived in South Carolina, and I was actually having classes like that in South Carolina in like the 5th grade. So, but yeah, so what I teach.
Way to go, John.
Helps people get out into so the kids can go out and find a job. But I'm finding it's people keep saying they need people, but then they turn these kids away on a pretty regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
It's a catch-22.
Oh, yeah. My parents pushed college. My brother was like a genius mathematician. In fact, if you guys are familiar with Jeopardy, Ken Jennings, the guy that won all the money, that's my brother's doppelganger. If you looked at Ken Jennings and my brother, they're one and the same. But imagine a guy who's got the brain of Einstein and is just can recite code out of his head. That's my brother. And the thing is, when it came to me a year later, because he's a year older than me, my parents spent a lot of money on Purdue University. They couldn't really spend money on me. And they figured since I was always tinkering with stuff that I'd never amount to a big college student or anything. So they never really saved for me to go to big. So I said, you know what? Screw you. I'm going to a technical college, mechanical engineering, and I paid for it myself. And I went but I'll be honest with you, to be honest, John, a Purdue college back in 1980 was say $4,000 a year.
Yeah.
My technical college was a trimester, $130 a trimester. And that was for unlimited courses. I was able to take 6 courses a trimester for $130. I mean, it was just people look today, $130. That's not one book,
Well, back then we could pay for college.
Like you could. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
Absolutely.
You're probably about 5 or 6 years older than me.
I'm 58. I just turned 58.
I just turned 53 a few months ago.
Okay. Yep.
So I went in the Army out of high school. My dad was in the Air Force at the time.
Yep. And number one, though, John, thank you for your service. I just want to say that to you.
Okay. I went in the Army out of high school. I went in as a cook because I wanted college fund money. It was back then you could do a 2-year enlistment as a cook. So I got out and I got a degree in history. And then I tried
the jobs were abundant, huh?
Oh, I was doing pretty good. And plus, and when I went to college, I could pay for a semester with a summer job.
Yep.
Or pay for the whole year.
I worked in a grocery store. That's where I met my wife in 1979, and that's what paid for my college from 81 to 83.
Right. When I went to UNLV, I paid $35 a credit hour there.
Yep. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So it's $140 a course, and you're like, what?
Yeah. It's like
now it's what, $3,800 for a 3-credit course. Unbelievable.
That's where you go to school. Yeah, and I got a degree because I promised my parents I would get a degree. So I got one in history because it was easy for me. And then I bummed around doing stuff for a while, and then I ended up going through an electrical apprenticeship. And I did pretty well in Vegas. The bottom fell out, and then I moved back to Ohio. Brought my wife, who grew up in Vegas, out here, and my kids, who were born in Vegas, out here. Yeah, winter was always was an initial interest for them.
Oh, someone's asking about Ben. Is that something you could answer, John?
Yeah, we don't do. Okay, so I don't certify.
I don't know. What is the bend test, John?
Well, bend test. Well, you can do a bend test with a vise if you wanted to.
Okay.
Just bend it to see if how it holds. And you look for
okay, for penetration and all that.
Yeah. It's okay. It's a way to do it. Most of my kids, when they do projects, we do little things. Like they weld a cube, they make some flowers, some steel flowers and stuff.
Yeah, I saw your flower, your roses and stuff like that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, the kids do that, and then and we do project, and then people will bring things in, basic things like a swing set or something needs to be welded up or fixed, or we do those kind of things. We don't do heavy duty. I'm not a welder. I'm an
Yeah.
electrician who had some welding courses in his apprenticeship.
Yep.
I'm a metal sticker togetherer. So, and I tell my students that, and I got students that come out of there who can weld better than I can because they go and they practice. I mean, they'll come in during lunch, they'll come in during their breaks, and they will they'll do that stuff, and which is awesome.
Yeah, one of the guys that emailed me, Al is his name. I read it before. He was a welding instructor and all that. He's retired now. Once we get everybody on, I'll send him the link. Hopefully he'll be in the chat because I'd like to hear his experiences too.
Oh yeah, especially because he's right down there. He's about 2.5 hours from me.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm in Toledo.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. We get funding, and I've done a lot of things with the Ohio Department of Education. I go down to Columbus and do a USS Iowa.
Definitely boats. Thanks for your service too, my friend.
And you're right. And when I talk to kids about like going into the military, I say if you want to go trades, go Navy. They have some of the best. Their A schools are awesome. Guys come out with amazing skills.
We hired 2 people that were machinist mates in the Navy. Best hires we ever did.
Yes, they are. I will give those guys get all that credit. They are good, and they work at it. Girls couldn't take shop class. Yeah, not now.
You know, Stella, you and I, you're a little bit older than me, a couple months. But anyway, it was, you're right. What, back in the 70s, yeah, girls taking shop, unheard of. And it was a shame because I think women are better with dexterity and all that and judgment calls, decision making. I think they could do it better than a man, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's all about this. You know, it's not about, you know, back then that's what it was about.
Yeah, that's what it was about. And actually, I have one of my graduates from a couple of years ago. She worked as a welder for a local place and did structural steel for a year and a half to put enough money together to go to North Carolina State to go to college. So, yeah, it's not like that anymore.
FEW, what am I missing? FEW. Oh, few. Yeah, duh. I thought it was an acronym. I'm trying to think of an acronym. How few tools and older skilled join. Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I always look in the ads for a Gerstner box or a toolmaker's chest because sometimes you get a treasure trove of all kinds of tools just added in there. You know, you pay $600-700 for a beautiful Gerstner box, but there's probably $10,000 worth of good tools in there, you know?
Right. And well, the old tradesmen, yeah. And even working as a Sparky, if I had to go into the attic or I had to go into a small space, I didn't drag everything with me. I can do most of my wiring with alignment pliers. And a multi screwdriver. I'm fine. And I carry a tester with me just in case. But
Boats, what's he going into? Boats, what trade is he going into? Just curious.
Yeah.
It's good to hear the kids are going into the trades. My son wanted to be a baker, pastry chef. Okay. Wanted to go to Johnson & Wales. Okay. Now, Johnson & Wales, for those that don't know, it's about $300,000-400,000. Okay. It's not the cheapest school around. And I said to my kid, I said, well, you weren't really the best student in school because you had issues. You didn't like to study, whatever. Smart, absolutely smart, whatever. And I said to myself, I'm not spending $75,000 a semester to have my kid flunk out to become a baker. I said, no, I'm not doing it. So I sent my son to Lincoln Tech. Okay. Lincoln Tech around here has baking and pastry. I said, if you're serious, do this. And he fought it. He definitely fought it. And halfway through, I'm not doing this. But I said, you're finishing. Because what most people don't realize, when you go for a job interview, they don't give a crap whether you took basket welding, basket weaving, or whatever. Did you finish? You started the courses, you started the journey. Did you finish? That means you're committed. You'll start a project, you'll finish it. That's what they look at, not really what you took, to be honest with you. So he finished it. He went through it. And at the end of it, he said, you know what? I'm done. I'm glad I finished. But I don't want to wake up at 1 a.m. every weekend, every holiday, working like that. And I was like, well, I wish you told me that $30,000 ago. Okay. But you know what? Better than $300,000 ago. Okay. So anyway, hey, we got our friend Bob in the basement. Give me a wave, Bob. Beauty. Here we go. Announcing Double Wide 6.
Hey.
Bob, how are you, my friend?
Good, doing well, guys. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. I don't know if you've been listening to us chat on. We've been sort of chatting for the past 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
Well, no biggie. I know a lot of people in the UK emailed me, said, Kenny, can you go in a little earlier? Because we're going to bed. It's midnight. It's 1:00 in the morning. And I said, yeah, I do feel bad. But you know what? I didn't say who our special guest is. You had asked for him, and he's definitely coming on. So I'm just waiting for him to show up in the basement. All right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
now, Pate's performance, I'm guessing it's Mrs. Pate, because she's throwing out some real ed stuff. So if we're going to talk about
no, that's Jason there. That's Jason.
Is that I could swore when there was a lot of Board of Education stuff and some other things.
Yeah, but I think
going into a
I'm way behind in the chat, but I know Jason actually Jason was going to go into teaching, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Because Christina is education. That's her, and psychology and stuff like that. So she's got 6-8 degrees.
It's got to be Christina, because she's talking about being an educational administrator, going in administration.
Yep. Oh, the principals are the ones that make the money. So
no.
Our principals here, our principal in my town, $240,000.
Holy crap.
Yep.
Well, that's because you're in Connecticut. And that's all tax base.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, look who's here. Another star, Chris X. Hello, Chris. I hear Chris is taking over TikTok. Exactly. See, Chris, word's getting around, Chris. You are Mr. TikTok.
All right, Mrs. Pate. So I just saw you say, yes, it's Mrs. Pate. So when here in Ohio, when we're dealing with education, we deal with the Ohio Department of Education. And you're right, feds dictate a lot of things to us. Like Perkins 5 just changed the way we're doing our way we have to do things, because the Ohio Department of Ed, in its proposal to the Federal Department of Education, said, hey, we're going to do work-based learning. 250 hours of work-based learning for my students. I have them for 2 years. I have them for 276 hours a year. And somehow I'm supposed to pull 250 hours of work-based learning out somewhere. On top of, we have a test called Work Keys we have to do. They have a state test we call Web Exam for each one of the courses they take. We have credentialing, which is required. So the credentialing things I'm doing through NCCER. It's just like layer upon layer of silt when it comes down to a lot of that for me. And almost doctoral level. Wow, that's more work than I want to do.
I can't even keep up with this chat because I'm. It's crazy. We've got 39 here now. Thank you so much, guys. There's Pate. Yeah, the Board of Ed. Yeah, Chris, it's all about funding, and I'm sure Bob will chime in too with that. In our area, they're pushing college, and it's like, I get it, but you know what? College isn't going to frame your house. College isn't going to fix your car. I don't know. I'm so set in the lack of kids not wanting to learn how to use their hands and their brain. They want to get in an office in a suit and make $100,000 when they're 19 years old. It just ain't going to happen like that. I don't know. That's my.
What's your take, Bob, on, I don't know how you guys do it in Pennsylvania. I think you're from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Actually, I'm a middle school teacher. So I think you're talking more like your trade school, I guess.
Yeah, but Bob, let me ask you a quick question. Let me interrupt you for 1 second. When we're the way the high schools work here, it starts at 9th grade. Is it the same out your way? 9th is high school?
Yes.
Okay. So think of it this way. Even you're in middle school. So your oldest kids are 8th grade. Okay. So that's 13, 14 years old. All right. When you're 13, 14 years old, someone's going to say, you want to go to technical school or you want to go to high? How are you going to make that decision? So the parents make the decision most times. And to me, I think it's unfortunate because you have to make that call because you want to go through 4 years of, say, the technical high school, the trade school. And I think being 13, 14 years old, you don't even know what you want for breakfast. I don't know. To me, it's a tough situation.
I teach in a comprehensive high school. So I actually teach my classes in a regular high school.
Okay.
We're our own career center. So we have 2 high schools in my school district. And our career tech programs are split between the 2. So like cosmetology is at the other high school. But we have a medical technology program at both high schools. The other high school has a an engineering program that's engineering aerospace, or I'm engineering and fabrication. We have a construction at the high school. We have a construction program at the high school where I teach. We have a horticulture, which is ag for everybody else, at the high school. And he does a lot of like landscaping. He does a lot of lawnmower type stuff, and he hates it when I say that. But that's to me, that's what it is. Like when he tells me I do a lot of electrocution of people, but and then we have different programs like we have finance and business, and we have a theater program that's career tech, that's industry based. So we have all those within our high school, which is abnormal because most places, we have a place close to us called Penta. There's 34 schools that dump into the Penta. It is a huge career center. And so that's where you hear a lot of guys. We still have, what was that?
Yeah, what is that? Base? Bose? What is that?
BOCES? BOCES? Are you talking about BOCES? Like vocational education centers?
Yeah, because vocational, like VOAG, we all had that. VOAG for being farmers and FFA and all that. But now we also have in my area an aqua science. We have agri science for like farming and that kind, and we have aqua science because we're close to the shore, where you could learn anything from being a marine biologist to working on outboard motors, things like that.
Right.
But the problem is it's limited to, say, 60 students a year out of 2,000 that go to the high school. Come on, 60?
Well, my program's loaded. I'm full in all my classes. I'm allowed a maximum of 24 students in my classes, and all my classes are full.
Yep.
So I got kids on waiting lists.
Oh yeah.
In my courses.
Yep.
Bob, what do you do at the middle school? Because I know our people do STEM. So.
And for those that don't know, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. For those that don't know. So
it's a little more science classy.
Yeah, basically our setup is kind of like this in Pennsylvania. In the middle school, which is 6th, 7th, 8th grade, we have woodworking, metalworking, plastic, computer-aided drafting. We do video editing, graphics, computer-aided drafting, and we have a little bit of CNC stuff that we're working in. We just got a CNC router. So that's the middle school program, but we're talking about, I'm hearing all this like feedback. I don't know where that's coming from, but
I checked mine. I didn't see it. I turned my.
Everyone's YouTube is off because
yeah,
the main thing.
Mine's off.
Yeah. I don't hear anything, Bob. It sounds fine.
Okay. Well, anyhow, and then so that's the middle school. We have 2 middle schools, and between the 2 middle schools, we have 5 tech ed teachers. Now, if the kids want to go on to high school and look into the tech ed field, our high school is teaching STEM. It's pretty much a 4-year engineering program in Pennsylvania. Actually, it's a national program. It's called Project Away. So it has, mathematics, electronics, manufacturing, drafting, like all that type of stuff. But it's based towards engineering. And most of those kids are really high level learners, and they go on to college to become engineers. Now, if you don't want to do the tech ed program through the public high school in Pennsylvania, all the schools in the district are able to send their kids to the not vocational institute, but it's called like Lehigh Valley Technical Institute, LCTI. And there's where they teach things like cosmetology, welding, cooking, all that stuff, whatever trade you'd want to get into, construction, electrician, stonemason, all that different stuff. And like diesel mechanic, they do have a small engine program there. But that particular field, for my school, it's kind of like a dumping ground. There's not kids. I mean, there's some kids that really want to get in there, but there's some schools out there that are just kind of sending their kids that are causing problems in the high school courses to, hey, you better go to tech. and they're sort of shipping them out there. So, I mean, they have millions of dollars worth of equipment and everything that kids can really get an experience and get a degree, and go on to get like an apprenticeship and have a really good job and really have some skills if they want it. And some of the kids that really want it, they do great. That they have welding degree or trucking, whatever it is they want to learn, and they do great. So that's how it works where I'm at.
Right. And so I'm impressed that you get that much in the middle school. We have nothing compared to that. That is awesome.
All we had was metal shop, wood shop. That was it. That's all we had.
Man, I'd love to have that. But we have a new career tech director who's come on board, and she's wild. She's like, hey, what do you think we should have? I said, we need a small engine class. We don't have enough room to do full auto mechanics. We need to do power sports and small engine. And she said, write me up a proposal. And she goes, I'll take it to the board. I don't even know anybody who can teach it, but I wrote a proposal and gave it to her. She's taking it to the board.
Hey, do you guys know what the Regents diploma is? What is that?
I don't know.
Christina, put that in there. I'm curious to see.
That must be
probably a New York thing.
Yeah, okay.
Because we have different things too. Ours are based on seals now for graduation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to earn different seals to put on your.
It's funny, Mark Wiley's comment, it's good to have it on paper, it's not the real world. Mark, when I was growing up and I went to my 2-year degree and then yada, yada, became an engineer and all that stuff, it held me back not having the sheepskin. My pay was just held down, down, down. I became engineering manager at one of the most precise machine tool manufacturers in the world. We worked to nanometers and angstroms, things like that, where non-contact gauges and stuff like that. I had guys working for me that were MIT doctorates, Penn State doctorates, making 4 times what I was making. I was their boss. But you know why? Because I could get stuff done. I knew how to organize. I knew how to make machinery and stuff like that. I gave them the test. But you know what? They could tell me, okay, what the metallurgical construction is in a 1032 socket head cap screw. But you said, okay, what size is a socket head cap screw? That's 1032. I know it's 190 thousandths. They couldn't tell from Adam. You know what I mean? Theory's good, but theory doesn't put the machine together. All right.
I had a lot of trouble with that, Ken. I got a degree in industrial technology with a major in manufacturing. So when I started out as a young guy, I was out at Mack Trucks. I was working in Middletown at the Reman Center, and basically there they had engines coming in that had 1, 2, 3 million miles on it, and they'd strip them down, redo them, and put them out. So I started working there with an internship, and they put me in I was watching over the manufacturing process and doing a timing study.
They love the guys with the stopwatches. I tell you that.
Yeah. So I did that for like 2 months in the summer. And right there, I realized, I wanted like nothing to do with that. It was so boring. I was watching people work. Most of the guys were complaining. And it was, I felt like I was just there, and they kind of gave me this job because no one else wanted to do it.
Let me ask you the $64,000 question, and I don't mean to put anyone down if they think that. Was it a union shop?
I don't even know. Probably was.
All right. We're not going to go there because that's a whole other topic of conversation.
Hey, Bald Eagle. I took home ec for the same reason.
To eat.
No.
Meet girls.
Meet girls.
It was required.
It was not required in my high school.
Yeah, in the middle school it is. Yeah. But after I worked there, I realized I didn't want to do that. So then I went back and got a teaching degree, and only took another year. And, I just wound up teaching. But the thing that I was interested in over there was like the tool and die makers, the people that were making jigs and fixing things on the assembly line when things were broken. Absolutely. And these were high skilled machinists, and I kind of liked that. But the problem was, this was like a white collar job, and those guys working there were blue collar job. They were very highly paid because they were highly skilled, but they weren't nearly highly as paid as the engineers were. But anyhow, I got out of there and I started teaching, and I'm actually looking to get out of teaching, so I'm probably gonna retire early here, and I don't know. I'm probably in my last 3 years, so
There was a guy who worked with me. He was in his 60s actually, and he had a degree in actually in physics, and he worked for me at this machine tool company, and they wanted him to be the internet guy to do a website. It was just when websites were starting out in the 90s, where every machine tool place had a big website. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. He goes, I'm not into that. I really. So he quit. And I'm like, Marty, you quit? I mean, God rest his soul, he's dead now. But I said, Marty, I said, what are you going to do? He goes, I'll do something. He went to a place called Caner Tech in Waterbury, Connecticut, and became a teacher there. Okay. He got a teaching certificate, state of Connecticut. He won Teacher of the Year 3 years in a row.
wow.
He stayed there for 5 years until he was like 66, 67, full pension. Okay. All that stuff. Said they were like the best 4 or 5 years of his life. You know, he said, I know so much stuff. I got to share it with the kids. You know, and he's a type, you know, I had a chemistry professor in college. Her name was Mrs. Kiss. I don't even know if she's still alive. It's been 40 years. But anyway, she taught us about ammonium triiodide. And I don't know if you guys know what ammonium triiodide is. You ever see those white
It's
things?
called Breaking Bad. Is that where they blow up the building?
They blow up, yeah. Well, we used to paint the stairs with it in school. So when the teachers came in with the heels on, bang, 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 that was a cool science teacher or a chemistry teacher. I mean, these are the, you know, the mad scientist teachers that you loved and cherished, because you not only learned your book smart stuff, they taught you how to have fun based on science and technology and all that. So I miss that. I really do.
Yeah, like when I started teaching, I came in right out of industry. I never had an education class. They hired me, put me in a classroom. I didn't take my first education class till after I taught a year. I'm glad I didn't. They just scared me out of the job.
Now, what did you guys have to do to be able to teach? Is it a certificate, or what did you guys need to teach?
Well, where I was at, I already took most of the manufacturing classes, and they transferred over to the technology education degree. So I needed the student teach, and I had to take about a handful of teaching classes, maybe like 5 classes, and then a student taught.
Nice. Ooh, look at Wayne. Let's read his. Started out in 67. I was 4 years old as a metallurgical technologist and ended up as plant manager in a closed dive Ford shop. That sounds cool. Everything I basically learned was from the employees. Always asked the seniority guy. Absolutely. When I first started working, I made friends with a tool maker named Vladimir Curly Warecki. And he was named Curly because he had no hair. And every day I'd go down there and he'd show me something different that he was working on, you know. But I'll never forget my first day when I went through the machine shop area. They always played the jokes. I always wondered, why are all the surface grinders pointing at the concrete wall? Okay. Well, it's because when you start, they take a little bit of voltage out of the magnetic chucks so that when you take your first hit on the surface grinder, bing, and it goes into the wall. And then you take the chunk of the wall, a little chip, and you sign it. You put your name next to it. And that's how you get christened in using surface grinders. And that's the way it was at that place. But then in all seriousness, after that, you know, they showed you how to learn all the machines. And when, like I said, I was fortunate back in 1983 when I started, you had to go around the whole shop and work every single area. Like I said, metal stamping, press setups, die casting, injection molding, thermoplastic thermoset molding, transfer molding, design, jig grinding, jig boring, milling, turning, grinding. I mean, we had to learn every single thing. And then they said, okay, Kenny, based on that, we want you to be this. And I was so hoping they'd say, yeah, we want you to go in the tool room, because they wanted me. The tool makers, I love the tool makers. You know, they were all like gunsmiths and stuff like that. We had a great time. But no, Kenny, we want you to be a bearing designer because you're very good with the mathematics and you're a great drafts person. We didn't have CAD. It was still on paper. And they saw my drawings and they said, you print well, you do nice drawings, you're fast, and you know the mathematics and everything. So I was a bearing designer for a few years. And then I worked my way up to different things like that. But I always had just an associate degree. And that's what kept me down. So, let's see. Oh, some more comments here. More comments. Let's see.
Now, like for me, I didn't have to do. I had to take 17 credit hours to get my certification for career tech because I came out of industry. I already was our journeyman. I had all my credentials from that. and I had a bachelor's in history on the side. They didn't even hire me. They didn't care about my bachelor's degree when they hired me. They only cared about my industry experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I came in 2 teaching fields: engineering technology and electrical trades. And then the state gifted me manufacturing technology eventually. So I can teach manufacturing, construction, the engineering courses. Don't put me in a computer programming course, though. That's not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in my area. I can teach computer programming. My boss, a few
Right.
years ago, she came to me. She goes, "You can teach welding, right?" I said, "Well, yeah, it's in my credential." She came back about 45 minutes later. She goes, "You can teach computer programming too, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's in my credential, but please don't have me teach welding and computer programming in the same day." As I say, total mental shift.
Mm.
That is just too far apart.
Here's a good open question. I'll start out with my answer. And Mark's asking why I think the trades are dying. In my area, anyway, Mark, you've got kids that are well-to-do, if you will. Okay, they're used to having nice things. They don't want to start at the bottom of anything. These kids want to, I'm going to go to Ivy League. I'm going to start out with a Wall Street office high up in Manhattan. I'm going to make $250,000 a year, whereby the tradespeople in my area, they did it. Their parents did it. Their grandfather, uncle. Usually it's family handed down or cousins and things like that. But kids today, the ones that I know in my area, want to start out making mega bucks. They don't want to, what do we call it? You got to earn it, right? You got to, toe the line and, and earn your keep and go through all the stuff it takes to do it. They want to start out up here. I mean, in my area anyway. What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
that's the way it is all over. And that's pretty much what you're seeing. Like, we see like these new teachers come in, they don't last. In fact, in Pennsylvania, I was just talking to my friend that, I don't know, she has a job pretty high up in the education system in Pennsylvania. And she was saying normally there's like 200 or 300 openings across the state of Pennsylvania in teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Right now there's 900 and some.
Wow.
And there's barely any applicants.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now we can't get subs.
Oh,
So
no.
it's like
I know here they treat subs like garbage. They pay them garbage and they treat them like garbage.
Yeah. So like if my buddy's out, I got to cover his class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, screw your buddy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Wow, I made it to the bottom of the chat. Holy crap. I didn't think I'd ever do it.
Well,
yeah.
If you want to talk about what's kicked off this thing to destroy career, vocational type stuff, it was a paper written by the Department of Education called "A Nation at Risk." It was the first study ever done, and it was done under the Reagan administration. Not blaming Reagan, just saying that's when it was done. They came out saying that we were falling behind every other country in the world in mathematics and science and engineering, and that we needed to focus on that. The way the funding came down then was focus on math classes, science classes, these things to get people in engineering get to do NASA. And in the process, the funding for the shop class dwindled. And that's when Perkins came out. Perkins, I want to say, came out like 89 or 90 first. Mm-hmm. First Perkins iteration. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I got my master's degree in career tech ed. So I got force-fed a lot of this stuff. So when that started, that's when they started funding it. But that's when the career centers really became big, as opposed to having stuff in the high schools. At least here in Ohio, that's doing my master's here, so that's what they're talking about. But yeah, that's when it started and pushing everyone to college. And like even Mike Rowe has that one where the dirty jobs, where you want to work hard or you want to work smart. But the problem is that saying isn't. Work smarter, not harder, doesn't mean your work isn't hard anyway. It just means you're supposed to find out a more effective and efficient way of doing it.
That's why it's called work.
Yeah.
Hey, here's Al. Here's the guy I was talking about earlier. I don't know, Bob. I don't think you were here yet, and even John. This is Al, who was basically a welding teacher. I'm going to email him the link because he's got a lot of experience. He's a retired welding instructor. I'm going to send him the link. Hold on, Al. Let me send that to you. All right, go on, John. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what started the push. And then, like my parents, their generation, their big thing was for me to go to college. My dad was a cement mason, went in the Air Force as a helicopter mechanic. They wanted me to go to college. They wanted me to go get this desk job. It didn't fit me at all. I'm pretty surprised that I made it this long teaching high school with my normal attitude. Because I'm like that grump. You remember the grumpy old shop teacher back in the corner?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Most of mine didn't have all their digits either.
Oh no, that I do have. That's been one of my crowning achievements. Not that I haven't had them sewed back together before. But yeah, that's one of those things when it just got tore up, and then it became everyone pushing for college and ignoring the fact, well, right here we got Jeep here. We have a Jeep plant. We have Ford not too far away. Those are great paying jobs.
Sure.
They can't get people.
Yep.
Now,
well, I'll be honest, where I am, we were looking for an electronic technician, okay, to work for me in one of our plants. Now, when I say electronic technician, we service, you guys know I work for Sikorsky, Lockheed Martin, okay? So, we're big. I mean, the largest defense contractor in the world, okay? To try and find someone, I wasn't looking for someone that just throw them in, because when you start in our place as a technician, you start as what they call level B. Okay. And you probably got to work a couple of years at the level B to earn your level A. Level A means I can send you on a job with nobody else and you can handle the job. When a B comes in, we put them with an A for 1 to 2 years every day until the A is confident that they could get their A and you could safely work. The main thing is safely work, especially with electricity, and get the job done. So I bet you we had 200 applicants, okay? And you have applicants ranging from bus driver, sous chef, paraprofessional, and I'm like, this is for an electronic technician. Oh, I just want to get in the door. Well, I need to get work done, and I need to get someone that can come in with basic skills. It was so darn hard. I mean, we have some now that hopefully we can make a decision, but how hard is it to find someone? We have a school, we used to have a school in Connecticut called Connecticut School of Electronics, CSE. And anytime you needed a technician, okay, you went there. You called up CSE, hey, you got anybody? Got a great guy for you, no problem. But remember, when I started into this stuff, you had TV repair shops, radio shops, CBs, things like that. You don't have that stuff anymore. It's a throwaway society. Your TV breaks, you get another one at Walmart for $100, things like that. So, who's teaching electronics? Nobody. It's tough.
Hey, Spoons, do you fix lawnmowers?
I just started. That's how I found you guys, because I got interested and wanted to start, because I wanted to bring that into the classroom, into the shop.
Okay.
That's why I started watching. That's how I even fell into this group, was that I started.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. I don't do anything like that. I do a lot of property. It's got to be me making that noise.
Wait, let me mute you for a second. Hold on, Spoon.
All right.
Talk, Spoon. Say something. I got you muted. Does anyone hear? Say something, Bob. I want to see if we still got an echo.
Hey, what's going on?
Anybody hear anything out in the chat?
No echo for me.
No echo for me, yeah. I'm going to put them back on. All right, you're back on, Spoons. If anyone hears anything, please let me know. Oh, here's a question from a movie star. Question to panel. How many years will it be until shop class is not even offered? It's not offered in my school. My high school, it is not offered. If you want to take a shop class, they have to arrange to one of the technical schools in our area and have you bused there. And under law, they have to bus you there. It's part of the law here. So, but nothing in my school. It's all about, computers and math and science and this and that, which is fine. But what about the guy that wants to be an electrician? Well, but he wants to go to the high school in his town, but no, you can't. You have to go to the technical school 20 miles away. I mean, it's not fair to the kids, I don't think.
Well, it is me, and I can't figure out why.
No.
Because I know I've closed everything off. But
do you have different microphones or anything? Because sometimes it's if you have more than one microphone.
I just have the one. I'm just gonna do this and see if.
I mean, it sounds fine to me. Bob, do you hear anything? I really don't hear anything.
Yeah, I do. I hear an echo the whole time.
And I hear it too.
I'm not hearing anything.
I don't hear it now. You fixed it.
Good.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, maybe not.
yeah, it's still running. I don't know why. I closed YouTube, so
Yeah, definitely got to close the YouTube.
I closed it, so it's gone. I don't know why I'm echoing.
All right. You guys talk for a few minutes. I'm going to try and email Al the link so he can talk about his experience as a shop.
All right. So, Steve, your question about ending shop is we're going to it won't end here, because the way our state's got it set up is a huge amount of funding. And if it did end, they would the districts would lose so much money. We get a ton of federal money for Perkins because we're such a manufacturing based state.
Is that Perkins thing or grant? I think I heard of it.
Yeah, it's the federal grant.
It's a vocational grant,
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get rid of shop class, because if they didn't have us, then your English and math and science teachers wouldn't be able to have a prep period. So they'll probably have shop forever.
Right.
Yeah, Pate, you're right. Shop class. You had all the losers took auto mechanics because they didn't want to do book smarts and stuff like that. But it's a shame. It really was, because I have friends of mine that did auto shop, own shops right now, and they learned the computers and all that over time, and they're making millions of dollars. So it really is. But in our area, in our town, the only technology they have at our high school is the agri-science area. They put millions of dollars into it to teach people about running, being a vet, running a farm, things like that, because our town was farms until 100 years ago when they started making houses and everything else. And there's an aqua science in Bridgeport, down by Seaside Park in Bridgeport, by the Long Island Sound, the ocean, where they do marine biology and even commercial fishing, stuff like that, anything related to the water. Okay, but what happened to metal shop? What happened to wood shop? What happened to, anything like that? Nope. You have to go to a 4-year state-funded technical high school.
Yeah, that's one of the bad things about the way it's set up for a lot of places. But like for us, for here, our district has always had it and they've kept it. But it was a real blue-collar district for a long time. Now it's where I'm at is more of a white collar. A lot more doctors and attorneys and stuff have moved in, and so college is pushed really, really hard. But the a lot of the upper administration now is like, you know what, we got to have something to do with the students who don't want to go. We can't just leave them out. So that's what I'm tackling a lot of times. But then I have kids who take my program. They're at Purdue, Michigan, Ohio State, University of Cincinnati, majoring in engineering. I got one young lady, she's at Purdue. She got on some kind of, they have to do a team project. She's the only one there who'd ever run a welder. So like these kids are coming out of all these school districts without any of this kind of background, never having had an opportunity to take a shop class. Then they're in college in mechanical engineering program, supposed to build something, and they don't have a background in it at all.
Don't you love it when you have degrees up the wazoo but no experience? And they say, sorry, we want someone experienced. How are you supposed to get the experience?
Well, and that's the thing. And that's the other thing with people trying to transition out of, I don't have earbuds or else I would do it. I haven't ever had this problem before either.
It's the luck of my streams.
Yeah. I don't know what I got going on here. What if I turn my speaker down?
Here, talk about an old timer. There's Jeff. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Maybe that'll help with it.
Yeah, Bob, when are you going to do another one of those vlogs? I got used to that. A couple of them they had.
I don't know, man. It's just it's so much time, man. There's only so much time in the day.
I know.
What's
your day like, Bob? What time do you go in versus what time you get home?
I get up at like 5:30, and I start work at 7:30. I'm there, and I work till 3, and then after 3, I'm like today. picked up my son. We went to the dentist, and then I took it easy. But usually I have some sort of project going on. I'm getting stacked up with right now. I got all these tractors coming in, so trying to like get to them and not waiting till the weekend.
Yeah, but Bob, I don't have a weekend anymore. My weekend is fixing stuff. That's my whole weekend.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm trying to make my weekend so that's not the thing because you know, I have sports stuff like everyone else.
But you got a decent garage too, where you could, you know, put stuff. You could work, you know, later in the evening, if you will, with some lights and stuff like that. Where most of mine's outside, you know.
Yeah, I try to, but now it's getting cold, and you know, I hate like changing and smelling like small engine. You know how it is. So it gets to be a pain. It's work, and to be honest with you, I just don't have time for the blog to keep up with it. Plus, you know, even like the chats, you know, I don't have the time to really sit around and be involved in a lot of the chats. But I don't watch football either, so
yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to gauge. You know, there's always time to make money. How much time you have with your family, so you got to figure that out too.
Yep. Well, like I said, you and I are in the same boat with the C word and all that stuff. And now that my kid's in 10 years remission, October 25th, you know, I thank God for every day. I think she just, I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram. She just closed on her first house Friday, 28 years old, her and her fiance, and I'm proud as hell. And you know, like I said, God gave her another lease on life at age 17, and we're gonna use it to the fullest. You know.
You have a different perspective for sure.
Absolutely. Anyone technical minded here that can sort feedback?
Don't I wish?
Well, at least he knows it's him. It's just that how do you solve it? But retired, have all the time in the world. Yeah, you know what though? You know, people say, "What are you gonna do when you're retired?" I got a list 1.5 miles long. People say, "Oh, I'm gonna be bored." I'm never gonna be bored. Are you kidding me? I got so much hot rodding and drag racing, all the stuff I used to do. I'm gonna start doing it.
Yeah, and I'm teaching like right now. The two community colleges in our area couldn't find skilled trade instructors, so I'm teaching. At one of them, I'm teaching 2 in-person classes, 2 online classes, and another one I'm teaching a 6-hour in-person class during the week. So that's all I do now.
All right, Wayne, take care, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Anyone that doesn't know Wayne and Eliminator Performance, him and Jake, good channel, great channel, actually.
Yeah, Wayne said he was going to send me out a sticker. I got to email him back. Thanks, Wayne. I'll be looking forward to it. I'll catch up with you on email.
I just love Jake when he comes on with the hello, Eliminators.
Yeah, how many subscribers do they have?
Yeah, you know? They got a lot, I believe.
Yeah, remember when he was making a video talking about how they had like they were trying to get to 1,000 right when YouTube like said you needed 1,000 to have be monetized.
Yep.
So yeah, I remember sending them an email saying you guys will be monetized before you know it. You'll be at 1,000, and it only took them about another month, and they were there.
What got me was Bruce P. He had me and Steve had me on their chats one day.
Oh, okay.
Got 300 subs in one weekend, so that put me over.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So like I said, it's not like you make tons of money, to be honest with you, but doing stuff like this, stickers and giveaways and stuff like that, it's real money. I mean, I was putting it out of my pocket for a year, and you know, finally I said I can't do it all, and that's why I monetized. You know.
Yeah, the stickers is a nice thing. It's just, you know, I was just talking to Bruce Pender, I think today about it. Like, I never got into the sticker thing, and you know, it's just one more thing that takes time. And you know, don't get me wrong, I appreciate everyone sending stickers out here. It's something that I don't have the time to keep up with. So,
oh yeah, it was just postage. I mean, I sent.
Like to England.
I sent a sweatshirt over to England. It was $26 minimum just to send the sweatshirt there. I was like, woof, that adds up, you know.
Sure.
I'd rather fly there with a bag of stuff than mail.
It's funny, you get a forever international stamp is $1.30, but the next step up is a $26 package. I'm like, what about in between? You know, there's no in between.
No.
All right. I did send Al that link, the welding instructor.
Okay.
Inspired, so hopefully he'll be up. Al, look at your email. I did send it to you. It's there. And our special guest, probably another 10 minutes, Bob, because he's got to put the kids to bed and all that. So
Yeah, he has young kids.
yeah, yep. Those days are long gone for me.
Yep.
I have middle-aged adults. That's about it. Boneyard. Everyone go look at Boneyard's channel. Great channel. He's almost up to 1,000. Got to give him some love.
Well, I'm going to go visit my grandkids over Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Nice.
In New Hampshire.
Wait, grandkids? You're not that old.
I'm 53.
Yeah, you're not that old.
Yeah, my eldest daughter's 30.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I started later. I started when I was 30.
I'd already been in the Army. I was partway through college, and holy smokes, we got a kid. So
that's how it happens, man.
Yep.
Steve's bragging.
The one thing, like when we were talking about things you did, at one time I worked for a guy who bought an old it was a store that sold fish in fish tanks.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought all this stuff up.
Holy
I used to work with him installing fish tanks in people's houses.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. All of a sudden, bam, I have our special guest in the basement and I have Al in the basement. They came up within a millisecond of each other the second Bob left. So, all right. First, let me throw up our special guest. This was at the request of Double Wide 6. So here's our good friend Jim Condon. Hello, Jim. How are you, my friend?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Those that want to put the face with the voice, go ahead. Say it, Jim. Say it.
Hey, guys. Welcome back.
Here you go. See, that's it. That made the whole stream. That's it. I can sleep now. That's it.
Well, it's actually Ken that caught my attention with your voice because he was doing one of these chats and he was talking about how relaxing and peaceful and the narrator voice is, and so that's why I added that little tribute to my video.
Yeah, I get a lot of comments on that. Anywhere from Bob Ross to Tom Cruise, like just I don't know. People trying to figure out who I sound like. You sound like me.
And also, you are tied with. I'm trying to think of the other person for the cleanest hands of guys that work on small engines.
Klaus.
Oh yeah, Klaus. That's it. Klaus.
Yeah, I heard that comment. Are they really cleaner than yours?
Put it this way: it looks like you should be doing surgery, Jim. Okay.
What's Klaus's channel called?
Kabi Mota.
Okay.
He's in Denmark. Great chat. You know, it's funny. I woke up, idiot me. I'm up early anyway. I woke up Saturday or Sunday morning at 4 a.m. just so I could watch Klaus's 1 hour video in Dutch. Okay. All I understood was humdy shmurdy birdie start stop. You know, and things like that. You know, he'd be talking in the but I enjoy watching Klaus, and Anders is another one over there. And just all the guys from Denmark that are on mixed stream that come up all the time. It's pretty cool. All right. Hey, we have Al in the basement there. I'm going to bring him up. Now, Al had emailed me asking if he could come up. He's a retired welding instructor and all that. So let me bring him up here. Let's welcome Al. Al, how you doing, buddy? Oh, you got no voice. Turn on. Oh, you're muted, Al. You got to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I would have joined in later, but earlier, but I was watching you guys on my big computer in my bedroom, which has everything but a camera on the monitor. So then out in my shop, I got an all-in-one with the camera and everything, and I do my video out there with the camcorder and live stream. So I didn't want to go out there because it's winter now. I'd have to fire up the heaters. So on short notice, I got my laptop from school, and that's what we're working out of with this laptop. And it was a mess with the internet and all that, but I'm finally here. But I was very interested in the talk tonight, guys. I retired in 2018. If you guys are familiar with Ohio Technical College in the Cleveland area, I worked there for 7 years. They opened a welding school in 2009. There's shortage of welders since the big economic collapse of 2007-8, and from that time, 2009, we started building back up, getting the economy back, and there was a shortage of welders that Lincoln Electric was like going to build their new school. They built a new one since then, and they expanded, and they, with the help of Lincoln Electric, they sponsored a welding school at where I worked, and they threw up a welding school, and it just grew and grew. And I was lucky to get in there. I was in construction. I worked all over the place. I was a machinist. I started out as an apprentice machinist. I had a machine shop in high school. I worked in a small shop. And I got.
Al, let me ask: are you as mature as I am in years, or?
I'm 65.
Okay, get a few years out of me.
Yeah, I was forced to retire in 2018 because you know what? Ironically, the economy was going so good that, now picture this: I was teaching welding from 2011 to 2018. The economy was going so good that they were skipping. The students were getting were going directly from high school. They were usually welding students. Okay, we had Boise's from New York. We had up in your area, Michigan. We had students. We would get them from the three-state area and down south, whatever. And the economy was going so good. They were taking them. They were such a demand. They were taken without certs and all that right from school, or with their school certs. But and it started slowing down. And at the same time, I had an elderly mom at home. I lived with my mom all my life. She nobody's taking care of my mom but me. So she was getting there where it was getting really bad. And I hit 62. I said, in the school, I had 2 students, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna take early retirement, and I'm gonna take care of my mom, which I'm glad I did for 1 year and a half. She was in best of health till 91, and then she passed away here at home, and that was right before COVID. And so, you know, and so I'm here. I am. I'm out of a job, no mom, and got something to do. And you know, they're calling me back to go to work now, but then COVID hit, and the school was closed. I mean, that was it. You know, you couldn't go back there that whole last year. So anyway, long story short, things are different now. They're like they were as far as employment and getting people trained. There's still that massive shortage, but there's also shortages of all workers, you know, across the board, skilled and unskilled. You guys know that. But anyway, long story short, you know, I worked in a lot of different industries, and I'm working out of my garage now. As far as actually for 10 years, I've been making in the background, making little videos on welding. Ken helped me out on my Wisconsin engine on my snowplow a couple years ago. During COVID, when we started the live stream, he was the first one that picked up my live stream, and he said, Ken, small engines, and I was asking him about the charging system on my Husky tractor and he helped me out. Since then, I've been just watching him on and off like I do everybody else. And I participated in this other forum like this called ARW, Amateur Redneck Workshop, with Harold down in Texas. And I've been same thing like this, just shooting a bull about the trades, home workshop and everything. But anyway, thanks for inviting me along. And I really enjoyed the conversation it brought back a lot of memories with the students and the need.
Now, how did you actually get into what you did for a living, though? Did you go to a trade school or anything?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Like I said, I had high school machine shop. In the last year of high school, I worked in a 5-man machine shop, Bridgeport and Mill. It was right up the street from, you know, I live in Cleveland here, in Old Town, where all the industry was still here then, you know, and we're talking about 1975. I worked in a machine shop half a day from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 6 o'clock, Bridgeport, squaring things up, learning. And then my passion too was welding. My dad had some dump trucks, and he bought a welder when I was a kid, and I liked it. My uncle was a welder, so part of
they taught you.
Well, my Uncle Bob did. Yeah, my dad bought a small Craftsman welder to fix his trucks, but he couldn't use it. He found out it's a lot harder than it looks. And then my Uncle Bob would come over and on a Saturday or something, and they'd get together. And then it's a typical story of working with your dad in it. And I really got a kick out of it and really liked it. And then I went to Cleveland School of Welding on a scholarship while I was while I was still in the machine shop. And it came in handy because when I graduated, I got into Warner and Swayze to be a machinist trainee apprenticeship.
Good company.
But they canceled the program because CNC was the thing.
Yeah.
And so here I am, and I had some school welding. I worked the summer before when I was 17 building. I worked in a little shop that rebuilt coke oven doors. You would never believe that they fit it was a little shop behind my house, and I think what it was in order to OSHA was getting really big in the steel mills here in Cleveland, so they farmed this work out and like hiring the kids from the neighborhood. We're cutting up coke oven doors and welding and everything part time, and I just turned 18, so as soon as I turned 18, he let me do some welding and stuff, so I liked it. And then but I got the job at Warner and Swayze. He said, hey, you know how to weld. And luckily I finished up at Cleveland School of Welding at night. And so from January 76 till 1981, I was a welder at Warner and Swayze building the machine bases. And then I became welder A, which was you go around all over the plant, maintenance welding, assembly welding, alterations and repair. And I thought that was the best job in the world. And then around 81, 82, they closed up, they were bought out, and that was a big recession. And then I got into construction. I worked for one of the largest dump truck outfits here. Recently, they just sold all their trucks. But I did that for about 7 years. I got back into machining. I worked in the tool room at Teledyne.
Teledyne Pittsburgh, or which one?
Teledyne Republic Valve here in Cleveland. It was a valve manufacturer, and I worked in the tool room.
Teledyne's huge.
Yeah. It's a big corporation, and I worked there till 91. Then the recession of 91 got me laid off.
Yep.
And that's when all this stuff went downhill in my area here. I mean, 81 and 91 is just like a continuing.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that though, Al, because 81 was the year I graduated high school.
Yeah, 81 was a bad recession.
It was a bad year.
Wow.
And when I got out of college in 83, another bad recession. And remember, I live in a town called Trumbull, which is right next door to Bridgeport. So we had Bridgeport Machines, Production Machine. I was engineering manager at Moore Tool Company, most precise machines in the world. And what killed them was in the 80s and early 90s, once glass scales came out and digital scales, they did not need ultra precise lead screws anymore. That was their claim to fame. Okay. But everyone else says, why do I need an ultra precise lead screw when I can put a Heidenhain glass scale on it? It'll tell me within a 1/10 of a thousandth where I am. I don't need your mechanical precision anymore. And that was one thing that was their demise, and it's just, but think of it. I've been in the area. Just look what's around me. You had Bullard, all right? The best VTLs in the world, vertical turret lathes, right? Bullard, my grandmother and my father grew up right across the street from the employment office door of Bullard. Okay.
Are you in Michigan, Ken? Or
no, I'm Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay, you're way up there.
So we have Bullard Machine right there. Down the road, you have Harvey Hubble. Down the road, you have Bridgeport Machine.
Oh, it was all up there, yeah.
Down the road, Producto Machine. Down the road, this Bridgeport was the hub of manufacturing. My father used to say, World War II and Korean War, when you got out of your service, you determined where you were going to work based on where you lived. If you lived in the east side, you worked for Hubble or you worked for Bullard. If you lived in the west side, you worked for Moore Producto. If you lived in the north end, you worked for Bridgeport Machines. It was where you lived and where you could walk to work. And if you were a veteran after World War II or Korea, you knocked on the door, you showed them your card, your release, you got a job. There was no question. You just got a job. Okay. And that's the way it was in this area. there wasn't even enough people. My father ended up working for where I work now at Sikorsky Aircraft. He worked there for about a year after he got out of Korea. And then someone suggested, Hank, you want to go into the utilities. That's the future. Electricity, phone company, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my father was a lineman and a crew chief for 40 years. Okay. And then he started, there were no bucket trucks. You hauled 150 pounds of equipment with spikes, and you went up that 60-foot pole, and you looked like a pro wrestler. Okay. And that's what they were all like. They would come to lunch at my house, and it looked like I had the World Wrestling Federation coming for lunch, because these guys, had to carry the equipment, stuff like that. But it was hard work, but back then the opportunities were there. Then we talk about today, all the truck drivers, I'm going to work for Amazon. So now we got nobody bring all the other stuff around to us in the country. So all the boats are sitting out there and all the containers are sitting out there with no trucks to bring them anywhere. It's ironic how COVID hit and everyone's like, oh my God, I'm out of a job. Then a year later, my God, we can't find anyone to do anything. It's weird.
It's weird. You know what? We're all experiencing like a PTSD from that COVID for a year and a half. And it hit me twice as hard because I just went through losing my mom, and we had no idea that she all of a sudden they just find the only thing that the medical community got right was she had tumors in her head and chest. Finally, they found it and said, oh, we missed it, and she's going to die in 6 days. We're like thinking she's getting better. Yeah. And we had, and so we had hospice here in the house. So I'm getting through all that through the rest of 2019. And then this COVID hits, and like you're cut off from the whole world. It's like we've been like neutroned.
Yeah.
And we all individually and collectively went through this, and I'm still getting over this stuff. And it's hard for all of us. And I'm glad this is a real nice. This stuff all started because of COVID, right? Nobody could leave the house. That's when I was doing the ARW. That's why. Harold started that. So that's when I started my live streams. I said, we're all stuck in,
that's what boosted YouTube immensely with the COVID.
Oh, yeah. Zoom and all that
Netflix
stuff.
and YouTube. That's right. All I ever did, right? Aside from work.
So I guess you could say good things come out of bad times. I mean, whatever. But I just pray for the day we get back to some kind of normal. I mean,
yeah, but will we? I don't know. I hope we do.
We're getting there, but they gotta. Well, you know what? I'll tell you, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not afraid of it. I didn't take the shot, not because I'm afraid of it. I just never got sick from it. I said it's been a year and a half. I was saying I'm gonna wait till the shot's out 6 months. Then I'm gonna wait for the shot. I'm gonna wait to see, because then you start hearing all this conversation about, And I have two older sisters, and they both took them. They have medical conditions, and they took it, and it's fine. But I never had a sniffle, so common sense is if you went all this time without even getting sick from it, you build up an immunity. Because I exercise. I used to build weight training equipment. I'm stronger in that. I used to build weight training equipment in my garage in the 80s during, actually it was 85. It was around 85. I built thick handle barbells and dumbbells, and during recessions and all that stuff. And I always kept fit and ate right. I mean, it's no big thing. But for the COVID, I just never felt the need for the shot. And I still go out there, and then I got to the point the last few months, I'm like, bring it on. I don't care. I really don't care. And you know what? It's either I'm the luckiest person in the world, or, there's a lot to natural immunity. There's a lot to it. Sure. But either way, it's a good thing. But
I want to get back on topic for a minute, and not to interrupt you. Bob and James, you guys have younger kids. I'm just curious, are you steering them in any particular direction? Knowing what we're talking about here and everything else, what are you steering your kids toward?
I'm not steering my kids. I mean, they're too young at this point, but it is interesting. My oldest, he is taking a woodworking class this year.
Good.
Which I was shocked they still had and happy. They don't have metalworking. They don't have small engine. But he is getting a lot of joy, out of that class
Mhm.
and using the different tooling. And, he's big into programming. He's big into 3D printing. He's building things with Arduinos and, things that I can't do, that I haven't tried to do. I don't have time to do it, but he's building literally robots and programming them to walk around, which
Now, is he
is
getting any of that in school or just on his own as a hobby or fun?
yeah, they have that in school too. They have programming. They also have kind of like a robotics class. So
Mhm.
he is getting that background. But to kind of, I guess, echo what you guys were saying earlier, is that, they, in the schools, they make you make that decision really early.
That's what I
And
said. Eighth
it's
grade
too
here. Yeah.
early.
Yep.
And when I was growing up, at least in my area, that was, a vocational school was a school you sent the kids that were problems,
Yep.
and
Yep. Well, VOAG is for growing pot, right? That's what it was for. Vocational agriculture, you grow weed, right? That's what back in the 70s when I was there, that's what we said, well, the potheads are going to be the farmers,
yeah, and it's too bad, really, because I mean, knowing what I know now, it's kind of too late. I'm approaching 50. My career
Still
has
a baby,
nothing
Jim. Still a baby. Come
to
on.
do. Oh, come on. I'm just coasting at this point, trying to make it to retirement. So, yeah, it's, I enjoy working with my hands and not sitting around all day. And, that's something I realized kind of late, but, it is what it is. I'm trying to learn, trying to catch up.
There you go. What about you, Bob? How about your kids? Are they into anything in particular?
I would say that both my kids are more book smart than I am and I will ever be. And my son, everyone that comes over here, doesn't even matter if they know him or not. They're always saying you should be out here working with your dad, but he doesn't have an interest in it. So
My kids neither. Yeah, they never did.
what are you gonna do?
That's it. Hey, as long as they're successful and healthy, that's all I care about. All right. Well, we've been on for an hour and 47 minutes. So unless anyone has anything else, it's 9:00. So I was gonna wrap it up. So any last words? We'll start with you, John. John.
There we go. I have myself muted. One of the things I think is that students are losing out because they're not doing any kind of hands-on type learning early on, and that there's certain pathways in the brain that get developed through hands-on, through building, through creating with your hands that they're not getting. They're developing different pathways because they're always on their devices. And if we're going to get people able to do the trades, to go in and doing things, we need to start at an earlier age, getting kids the opportunity to build things somewhere, whether they're doing at the school or they're going to a camp or they're doing something along those lines. We focus a whole lot on sports mainly within this country. Kids are always going to sports camps. They're always doing these things. And then we're wondering why we don't have people who want to go into the trades or go into these more difficult jobs, because we taught everybody to go play sports. We didn't teach them to do something else, is one of my beefs.
Sure. Bob, last words?
Yeah, you can see clearly how Al, who's lived for many years, has kind of molded his reputation and his skills to fit any job he could have possibly ever wanted. Everything from making barbells to being a machinist to welding to everything. He just had that skill set, and that's kind of what we're talking about. The biggest thing that I'm seeing with kids is that, especially with COVID and working with younger kids, it's really magnified how much they can't problem solve anything on their own. We live in that society where the kids are like, well, how do I do this? And there's just no attempt to try and figure it out on their own or ask their buddy next to them. They want you to give them the answer on a golden spoon, So
cool.
I don't know.
James, anything from you?
Yeah, I mean, I wish they integrated this stuff more into the curriculums. Like I feel like they're really pushing certain programs to meet state requirements that doesn't include trades or hands-on stuff. I mean, they spend so much time, even during COVID, they're sitting all day in front of their Chromebooks doing homework, or, they're there all day sitting still. And it's like, it can't function like that. People need to get out and do things and figure out what they like to do. And I think that's one of the things, like, a lot of people are steered into certain careers or things that your parents think you should be doing.
Yeah.
But you need to figure out what you're good at.
Well, they say
kind of
if
build
you
on
enjoy
that.
what you do, you never work a day in your life, and it's true.
Exactly. And there's a lot of pressure for people to do things because they're expected to do them, instead of finding something that they like to do. And when you find that, you're going to excel at it because you're excited about it. You want to learn about it. You want to do it. And, if you're told to do something, then you're not going to be successful. You need to do something because you want to, and do it the best you can.
Absolutely. All right, Al, any last words?
Well, taking up on what Bob said about being flexible throughout your career, and it made me think right here. I'm sitting at my little desk here, and I got all my old books. And believe it or not, I signed this when I got this book from Lincoln Electric. I was a nerdy kid at like 1970 when I was 15. I signed that when I was 15. This is a book from Lincoln, Incentive Management. And he talks about jobs and unemployment and the welfare state or stuff like that was forming way back when. And he says in there, there's no such thing as unemployment. That if you're willing to work any shift, if you're willing to do any type of job, if you're willing to just change. I went into dump trucks. Luckily, I drove a single axle dump truck with air brakes for a guy, and I got a CDL. And I just gleaned my experience from my dad's little 1-ton dump truck. And then just kind of, you just got to build yourself up. And then I got a CDL, and then there was no manufacturing jobs. And I took a job for one of the largest trucking outfits here. And they hired me because they were so short of drivers. And I never drove a tandem or triaxle truck. But, you get in that thing, it's like a railroad car. You look in the mirrors and, hey, I could do it. But you've got to do it. And it took me 1,000% efforts to what those guys were doing, like second nature, but because that's what they did. A lot of guys came up from the farm. They worked on farm stuff. I'm a city boy, little stuff, but you have to adapt, and you never know what you can do until you just throw yourself into it. And you got to don't make excuses. You have to adapt.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think a lot of people are expecting to get great jobs, out of school or whatever, and you got to take it whatever you can get, and if you're good, fine. You come in at the lowest level, you learn the skills of what people are doing, and build yourself up, and you'll get to where you need to be. But to sit there and expect something without putting in the time and effort to learn it, it's not going to happen.
I find the kids quit. If they can't do it great, like if they can't be the greatest person doing it right off the bat, they quit.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest things to get them to get out of, especially with welding. Nobody welds great when you start. I don't care what kind of dexterity or whatever you have. It's going to look like crap. You're going to grind it and you're going to paint it and make it look as good as you can. And but yeah, kids they just like give up.
Well, that's why I was telling everyone in the beginning, when my son wanted to be a baker and pastry chef, and I said, look, I'm not sending you to $300,000 Johnson Wales. You're going to go to $30,000 Lincoln Tech. And if you don't like it, I'm not in the poorhouse. And after about 1 year of a 2-year curriculum, he decided, yeah, this isn't really for me. And I said, tough nugs, you're finishing. What do you mean? I said, when you go for a job, they don't give a crap if you took underwater basket weaving or what. You started the program, you finish the program. You can start and finish a project. You can start and finish what we give you in a job. And that's what it's all about. Now, me, the reason I've lasted all these years in manufacturing, because I'll be honest, Southern Fairfield County, Connecticut, 1983, manufacturing sucked. There was nothing left.
Same here.
Leaving. But what I did was one word, adapt. Okay. Every place I ever worked, okay, even though the money wasn't there, I made myself, and the key word, and I have it in one of my videos, 2 words, value added. Why does this company need to keep Kenny when they're laying off the other guys? Why? Because Kenny knows more than these people. Kenny can do the job of 3. Kenny always wants to learn. Kenny always wants to help. That's what's kept me and my family successful, fed, housed, clothed. I was willing to go the extra level. At 45 years old, I said, screw this. I need to make some decent money. I'm going back to school. Do you think I wanted to go back to school, night school, for 7 years and get a bachelor's and a master's? Nope. I missed a lot of my kids growing up, but I adapted. I knew what I had to do in this area to make money to support my family. And that's what it's all about. And the kids nowadays, when you're talking to these kids, they're not going to make $1 million right off the bat, unless your grandfather owns, whatever. Okay. But I tell the kids now, what do you enjoy doing? Is there the possibility that you can find a career where you can take advantage of that? Maybe in this area, no. Maybe you have to move 300 miles away to an area that's more conducive to that type of work or that type of skill. Connecticut, where I am, it's an insurance state. Okay. Connecticut, the Hartford, it's based on insurance. 100 years ago, it was based on manufacturing. Not anymore. Okay. So I tell my kids all the time, luckily, my oldest wanted to be a teacher since she was born, and she's doing okay. My youngest, great with his hands, can build anything, fix anything, just like me. I have him working with me as a laborer in my shop. Okay. Second shift, working his tail off, and it's paying off. But you know what I said? What do you really want to do? Look for that job, because you can post out after a while. You work 1 year in my place and you're allowed to post out. Find out what you want. This isn't a pincushion. It's a brain. Use it. Okay. My kids are very smart. Take advantage of it, but use it to your advantage. 2 things I teach my kid: enjoy what you do, but let your money work for you. Work hard, make it, but make it work for you. The people that have the new cars and all this stuff, a lot of it's old money. It's because people saved, people invested, and they let the money work for them. We've got to teach our kids how to be successful. We can't tell them you have to do this. They have to enjoy it, but we have to teach them economics and how to survive and how to get what you need to get and all that. And I think they don't teach that. One thing I think that's missing in education and even in college, personal finance. How many people don't know anything about
in my opinion, what we should really be teaching in school is every kid know how to come out and start their own small business.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because if everybody can come out and run a small business, know them to not have the knowledge, not the all those guys can do the technical work. I can work my behind off as an electrician. I suck at the business side. I know how to get the jobs. I know how to go do the jobs. It's the chasing the getting the payments. It's the managing all the other things that you're supposed to manage that drive me batty.
Yeah. That's why I went back when at 45 years old. I said to myself, Kenny, I know enough about engineering. I know enough about machine design and everything that I've done it and I can do all that. Now I want to know how the world works. So I got a management degree, management bachelor's degree, and an MBA. So I could run a business, I could start a business, I could do it. I mean, that to me was the only thing ever missing from what I learned growing up. I could build anything, design anything, fix anything, but how does the real world of business work? How does money work? How does economics work and all that? And that was the best education I did for myself, was learning how money and economics and the real world works.
And that establishes a big level of independence. So if somebody could go out and start a small business and start making money on their own where they don't have to work for somebody else, that's a huge amount of independence. See, to me, small business is more democratic than anything else. The more people who are small business owners, the less you have that people need to go work for larger companies.
Yeah. But
And
even
that kind of takes some of the power away from other people, from entities.
I was talking to Stella the other day, and we were talking about small engines and what we do. And we had the discussion of LLC versus sole proprietorship versus Class S versus Schedule C.
Yep.
And it's like, well, how many people know what that even is? Okay.
Not many.
So, someone like me who, you know what, I don't really want to have the tax number and all that stuff. You know, what I do, I do decent with it on the side. It's coffee money, like I say. But you know what? Stella turned me on to something called the Schedule C. And she says, Kenny, you got your YouTube channel. You're spending money. You're buying stamps. You're buying stickers, doing this, having contests, whatever. Fill out a Schedule C. I go, what do you mean, Stella? She goes, Schedule C, it's got expenses in there. You deduct them right off your bottom line. And, you know, it's supporting your YouTube channel. And I said, holy crap. So I looked it up and I'm like, damn, I'm going to get a little bit of more of a refund this year. You know what I mean? Things like that. So, but I didn't realize that, but Stella did because of her experience doing it versus LLC versus Type S and stuff like that. So, but you learn it in business school, which I did, but I never knew about a Schedule C for someone like a YouTuber who wants to be able to, you know, profit and loss your P&L on your YouTube channel.
Right, but this is a new entity though. This is like what everybody's gonna be running into. This is new. You can't even 15 years ago, there's no way you'd even know to train somebody for this.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, it didn't exist. But like I have a former student of mine, he's been tutoring me now. He graduated like 7 years ago. He's a plumber. He started his own business. So he's showing me, he's one that said I was undercharging for my work. He was showing me all this stuff. And if I ever went out to contract, I'd follow his model. He has 3 LLCs. He has the LLC that's his business, the LLC that owns his truck, and the LLC that owns his tools. And he rents his truck and his tools from his other LLC. So if anything happens, he loses the business, but he doesn't lose the truck and the tools.
Yeah, it's just like LLC, you don't lose your house, that kind of thing.
Right. So he's got it separated so that if something funky happens.
Yeah. But anyway, all right. On that, it's been 2 hours and 1 minute. So I just want to say thanks to everybody out there, all the guys in the chat. You've been really, really cool. And special thanks to James Condon for showing up. I know it's not a generator Q&A, but I'll be honest with you, getting tons of emails.
Mr. Generator.
They want to see you, Gary, Bruce, and me in a foursome talking about generators. So that's definitely going to happen. We got to plan that. But like I said, again, thank you to John. Thank you to Bob. Thank you to James. Thank you to Al. I appreciate all you guys. I hope we made some sense to people out there, the importance of trades, the importance to have them, and for kids to hopefully want to do that. Because, you know what, guys, in 20 years, who are we going to call, you know? Again, thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. And what do you say, Jim? You know what? I'll let you say goodbye to everybody because you do it so well.
I don't say bye well, do I?
Well, your salutation at the end. How's that?
Okay. Hope this video helps someone. Thanks for watching.
There you go. You
I
made
had to
it.
think about it. I'm like, what do I say at the end?
You always say the same thing, but
I know.
I almost called you Bob Ross. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it for me. Let me end this stream, and we will talk to everybody soon. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
all.
all.
Everybody have a good